Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. All right? Thank you. No, I mean, as long as you can hear me. Does this come out by chance? Okay. Because yesterday I was like up here a lot. So. All right. That's not going to happen. And I probably won't do that today because I've got a clipboard in one hand and a laser pointer in another, and I'm just not that ambidextrous yet. I probably prefer, I kind of like the wander. I've got a clipboard so I can kind of walk around. So if you do have a portable mic, I prefer that. But I do think the mayor may want to use this. So I'll take it. We're in no rush. We're out of it. Brandon, where'd you go? You had dinner? You guys had dinner? Okay, you cool? Like I say, I'll hold the fort for now. We got a great farmer's market. You can do some vegetables.
me sing. I'm on stage now, like, let me sing. Or line dance, I can do that.
that issue was.
All right, I'm gonna leave these here.
What's this?
This is the repeat.
Okay, this is my reading. And so these are the gifts. Good, thank you, please. Or paper. Give them tickets. The first 100 people. Probably. Yeah, that's good. You want to get their tickets. Discuss going live. And they can go to the city website. Mayor. Sit together anyway, okay? Try to. These are open over here if they're too close. We good on the sound back there, Rob? All right. Don't shut up on my half. We'll go ahead and get started. I'm sure. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Randy Robertson. I work for the city of Aberdeen, and I want to welcome you. This exceeds our expectations. So give yourself a round of applause for being here. Come on. This is the first time we've ever tried this, as far as I know. We're trying to integrate technology in old-fashioned town hall kind of atmosphere. Before we get started and into a little scripting, I'd ask for just about 30 seconds. This community, not Aberdeen per se, but our bigger community, last week lost Officer Amy Caprio and the family. And we've been, one of our commissioners, counselors is associated with it, knows the family. It's been a very tough week for a lot of people. So for a few minutes, just a moment of silence in honor of the Caprio family. Thank you. I want to thank you for being here. Again, my name's Randy Robertson. If you live or work in the city, I work for you. I'm your city manager. I want to read this. I got a little script. As I said, we've never done this before, so we're going to be filling in the blanks a little bit with you. We ask for a little bit of your tolerance. We've exercised this a lot. I'm an old soldier. We practice a lot, but Jason knows, he's smiling at me, it never goes the way it's planned, right, Jason? So, a few weeks ago, America celebrated National Public Service Week. In a White House message, the President wrote, "During Public Safety Recognition Week, we acknowledge our nation's civil servants for their hard work, their willingness to serve their fellow citizens. The contributions and dedication of these men and women strengthen our country and make a profound difference in the lives of Americans. Members of our federal, state, and local workforces bring incredible skills, tireless dedication, and selfless service to a broad range of career fields. Our nation's civil servants include teachers, mail carriers, first responders, transit workers, refuse and water, sewer employees, administrators, and law enforcement officers." I think that's important to start tonight's session because this is an opportunity. The listening session, we labeled it, this won't be a dialogue, but we're going to hear from each one of you via a clicker, and we'll go through that a little bit later. So we've come together to have you tell us what your thoughts are as it relates to Aberdeen. I'd like to first start and ask the mayor and city council. They abandoned me. They told me they didn't want to sit up here. So, mayor and city council, would you at least, these are the people that elected you. Tonight, in the spirit of that Public Service Week, the City Council and staff of Aberdeen invite you to join them in helping develop a broad roadmap for our city's future. It's truly important because every time you turn on a faucet, flush a toilet, drive on a city street, attend a public school, have your trash or recycling picked up, go to our city webpage, use a park, the library, the senior center, call the police, call the fire department. Every time you do that, you're using a city or county service. In short, all of those things take money. And what we want to talk to you tonight, Rob, next slide, is where does your money go? I don't know if this is news to you, but this has been on our city webpage for about a year. It's about ready to be cycled for the next year's. But this is where basically your money goes. And tonight, maybe for the first time, certainly for the first time in Aberdeen, but maybe for the first time in the state, we want to hear from you, not in a referendum forum, but in a manner of saying, well, that's fine, but here's what I'd like to do. Thank you, Rob. You will receive 50 questions tonight. And as we go through those, in 85 minutes, you will note that we can't get very deep. And there are going to be a lot of topics that you say, well, wait a minute, I have so much more I want to talk about on that issue. Can't get there, and be respectful of your time, because we promise you we're going to try to get you out of here at 8:30 or before. So how do we do that? Well, there's several forums. One is on the questions we go through tonight, there are many of them that have the word other that's written right beside it. And for 90% of you, we ran out of them. But for 90% of you, you have a packet when you came in, and congratulations to the first 100 of you. You received 2 complimentary tickets to an Ironburg game. Congratulations. Thank you for being here early. You also received in that packet the latest edition of the city newsletter. About a month and a half ago, we mailed you, if you lived in Aberdeen, we mailed about 5,000 of these out. But it cost a lot of money to mail them out, so we thought we'd use this forum to communicate with you about what's going on. More importantly, every Monday, somewhere around 1 o'clock, the city pushes an e-newsletter out. So if you're on e-news, if you have an internet, you'll get it for free. And every week, we publish what's happening in City Hall. Just out of curiosity, how many of you know that for the last year and a half, Aberdeen has had a farmer's market every Thursday? About 2/3. Now, out of that 2/3, how many of you have visited a farmer's market? About half of that. For that to be successful, we have to visit. Those vendors aren't going to stay there every Thursday unless we frequent that. And we're not allowed to put a lot of signs up and all that. That's how we communicate. One of the ways we communicate with you is through the city e-newsletter. We also use Facebook extensively. We have over 7,000 people who like our Facebook. But on the back of that packet you picked up, you received the community listening session. It's a little cardboard stock card. So when you hit that question other, and you say, that's not what I wanted to talk about right there, or I have a whole lot more to say about that, or they didn't ask that about that question. Take the pencil that we gave you, the pen you have, fill in. Tell us what you want us to talk about on that question. Tell us what you're thinking. That's one way of doing it. The other way to do it, you're welcome to come to City Hall. You're welcome to send us a newsletter, an email. But more importantly, you also received a little card. It's basically a drop box. So we've created for this session, so if you have another question that you didn't get clarity on, or you want to have more of a discussion on, or you say, why are they doing that? There's about 4 or 5 ways you can go, and you can go home and put fingers to keyboard and tell us exactly what you want us to know. Several ways to do it. So use the others when you get there. You were issued a clicker. Does everyone have a clicker? Is there anyone in the room who wants to participate in this that does not have one? I see no hands, so that system worked. So, Rob, you ready? Rob is our contractor. Rob and Heather, thank you for doing this. Rob's going to give you a little tutorial on how to use that clicker. We ran out at about 150 of them. So what I'd ask you to do is the other forums, email me, write me, call me, City Hall. But as I said, there's a lot more in here than we anticipated. So, or if there's some scrap paper, ladies, do we have some just paper? Yeah, but I mean right now, we have any paper back there? Or Chuck, can you help us get some paper? We can give you a pencil. If you didn't get one, we'll come back in a second. We'll give you a paper and a pencil. You can just put it on there. All you need to do is put question 4. Here's what I want to know. Go ahead.
All right. Good afternoon. Good evening, actually. The clickers are pretty simple to use. All the questions are going to have choices A, B, C, or D. Some of them go, I think, to F or G. The buttons below will be your choices. Now, we have 13 seconds set for each question, but it takes about 2 to 3 seconds for the handsets to register that the polling has started. So you'll have about 10 seconds to answer each question. If your answer to a specific question is going to be B, then you will just simply hit the B button and then hit the send button, which is in the upper left-hand corner just below the LCD screen. If you accidentally hit A twice or B twice, you can hit the delete button and it will delete one of the letters, and then you would just hit the send button again. It'll say submitted, and you know that your answer has been recorded. With this many people, as we go through the polling, the system is going to take, it might take 5, 6 seconds to tabulate all the results, but they'll show up in a graph at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. And that's all there is to it.
Any questions about the clicker? There's a question.
Yes, sir.
What's the hand in the middle?
Some of the systems allow you to use it as a pointer. It's disabled on this system. For the purposes of tonight, the only thing you need to worry about are the lettered buttons and the send button. Anybody else?
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Rob. Okay, I mentioned we're going to have 50 questions, and we have about 75 or 80 minutes, so you can do the math. If Rob's given us 10 seconds and then we see the answers, and not meant to be a lot of dialogue about a specific question, but we will, if there's something very unique in there from this size audience that we see, it's your session. We can spend as much time on those within reason as you want. But all that said and done is we're going to try to move, again, respect your time, pretty quickly. Sir. I haven't got there, Mayor. You're ahead. Got a good mayor. He's just much more technologically savvy than I am, but it's built into my script. We aren't Facebook. Now, what do I mean by that? There's no way I'm going to know who said what. There's no way they're going to know who said what. None of this is recorded, if you will. It comes up, the graph is with us, so we're not saving anybody's records here. Okay? So feel comfortable in that. Is that a good answer, Rob? We are not doing that. So back to the issue is we have limited time, lots of questions, 50 of them, on lots of topics. Advertised tonight, we're going to talk about transportation, economic development, public safety, which is fire and police. We're going to talk about recreation. All of those things, so you can see we're not going to do, we can't do a deep dive. But it's hopefully a surface level enough to give this council, from your answers, some indication about, yeah, maybe we need to go back to that resources side, and maybe we need to spend more time over here, or money, or less time over there, based upon these answers. It's meant to be a roadmap for the council. So with that in mind, don't expect to get very deep, but that's why you have our email addresses, that's why you can call us, and that's why you can use the sheets that are passing out. Does everybody now have some kind of a writing instrument or piece of paper? And we'll ask you to leave it back at the desk as you head out the door tonight. Not only the clickers, and we'll collect the clickers before we're done, but we'll also collect at the back desk your other sheet. So, Rob, I think with that, we're ready to roll. Okay? The first set of questions are demographic. We just want to know a little bit about who you are. So we've got a series of questions to kind of identify where you live, who you are, how old you are, within range. And again, we don't know who you are. So with that, you ready to start the clock? The first question, I am a male, a female, B. Start the clock. And our answers should come up right there. All right, ladies, there's 2 of you for every male in here almost, so I don't know. I came from Alaska. That's good odds where I came from. I don't know what that C means either. I'm not going to go there. All right. Good way to start, though. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Question number 2. I am, and there's the range, A, 15 or younger, 16 to 21, 22 to 36, 37 to 54, 55 or older. Start the clock. Rob, did you hear that? All right. Mayor, would you repeat your question?
So when he activates the question, put your answer in, you see that classes, right? It says question 3 will be the next one. Then you press the button that is sent. Everybody get it? Any questions?
Okay, this is who we are tonight. Generally, I would say we're a mature audience. Is that a fair way of putting it? I really appreciate the youth that we do have here, though. Thank you for being here. All right, question 3. I am Caucasian, African American, Hispanic, Asian Pacific, or other. I don't think you want to use your sheet for this kind of other, but I'll leave that up to you. Start the clock. And we're still working it, which means we're really answering questions. All right. 64% Caucasian. Next highest is other. And third. This is 18. Okay, excuse me. B and African American. Probably a fairly good demographic of our community. Next question. I live in Aberdeen, live on Aberdeen Proving Grounds, work in Aberdeen, live and work in Aberdeen, or none of the above. Start. Yeah. Okay. Rob, it's apparent, given the size of this audience, it's taking a little longer to populate. Okay. So we live in Aberdeen, or we live and work in Aberdeen. What is that? 56%. All right. Next question. I and or my family, we rent our home, we own our home, we work in Aberdeen and live outside the city, or none of the above. Okay? Okay. Okay, B. Most of you in here tonight, which is probably reflective of our audience anyway, you would have thought, own our home. Next question. Now, this is not a question yet. Study this map a little bit. You'll see it again, but it'll be smaller. We're going to ask you where you live. Now this map, if it's new to many of you, this is the zones that we collect refuse and recycling from. So just using that, got an idea about where you are, where you live on that. Go to the question now. Using, at ease, we're going to be here. Using the refuse collection map that you've seen, I live or work in zone 1, 2, 3, 4, or I do not live in Aberdeen. Start the clock. Okay, ready? All right, looks like most of us tonight are from zone 3. Okay. Guys, at ease? Okay, thanks. I want to get you through this as quickly as possible. Next question. If I reside in Aberdeen, there are how many in my household? 1, 2, 3 to 5, more than 6. I don't reside in the city. Start the clock. Okay. Got it? It appears that 3 to 5 is the most frequently occurring figure here. Not a lot of single people out there tonight. All right. That's the demographics. Everybody kind of comfortable with how this process works now? Or not what? Yeah. Some people are not. You can look at the numbers yourself. Some of you are not clicking in. I'll leave that up to you. But we've had variances from 263 to 225. So if you choose not to answer, I respect that. I can't do much about that. Quality of life is what we're going to talk about now. In questions 8 through 10, you'll be asked to rank order some of the aspects of a quality of life in Aberdeen: housing, transportation, recreation, schools, economic development, and the environment. Question 8 will ask you to choose what you believe is the most important element to you or your family or your business, depending on why you're here. And then the following question 9 will ask you to, what is your second most? And then the 10th question will be, what's the least important to you? Again, you'll only have one number 1 ranking, and then the second will be, what's your second most important? So considering that, let's move to the next question. Which issue is the most important to you, your family, and or your business in the quality of life in Aberdeen? Housing, these answers will be the same for all 3 questions. Housing, transportation, recreation, schools, economic development, the environment, or other. And this might be a place where other might be appropriate for some of you. Okay. What do we got, Rob? Okay, 24% on E, school, excuse me, economic development. Then we have other, just out of curiosity, a few of the others. Anybody want to shout something out?
I did not include public safety in the environment. Maybe some people may have.
Public safety, okay.
Because I didn't see public safety up there, I put public.
Okay, very good. These were sort of meant to be more of an economic because we spend money in schools, but absolutely understand. All right, so we move to the next one. Same question. Different response is not what's the number one priority, what's your second most important priority? Start the clock. Okay. I think you're starting to see some trend analysis again, either first or second. E. Our last question in this series. What's the least important of this list? What's the least important to you? Start the clock. Looks like we have a pretty clear item B. I believe it's transportation. Okay. That is to me, I can't speak for the council, a very seminal message. Maybe what we're doing in terms of the allocation for roads is not where this group necessarily, it's how you read it, but so. Transportation is roads. So, let me move on. Finance and budgets. I've got a little narrative up front. The next set of questions we're going to deal with the city budget, what we looked at up front, and finances. Just like your household or your business, we've got a relatively limited budget. So we have to prioritize, i.e. the council, and that's a councilmanic action. They have to prioritize where we spend the money. There's an old expression that what's important to you is where you will spend your money, so that's a large reason of what you're sitting here tonight. Since Aberdeen has a limited budget, the questions 11 through 13 deal with how you would prioritize where you would like to see the city spend most of its time, effort, or people. Again, just like the questions we did before, we're going to ask you to prioritize them. There'll be 8 choices, and we'll go through it just the same way we did last time to get some kind of trend analysis. So with that, question 11, what's the number one priority for Aberdeen resources? Again, that means time, people, money. A, increasing park and recreational facilities or programming. Offering more community events and activities. C is enhancing public safety. D is repairing the streets and sidewalks. E, improving the city's appearance. F, investing in growing Aberdeen businesses and economic activity. G is improving and maintaining the Ripken Stadium. And H is other. Start the clock. Okay. I won't read, while he's getting that up, I won't read all the answers the next time because they're identical. Okay, here's C. For the most part, some fairly balanced among several issues, but primarily public safety. Seems to be the majority. What is that, 26%? I'm sitting at an angle, so. Okay, next question is identical to this one, except what's your second? Put the question up. What's your second most important? Start the clock. It's stopped and your answers, it's tabulating it. The question's going to stay the same. You can't make simpler questions. So, once again, second, if you looked at the first and you looked at the second, once again, we're talking primarily, although there's a lot of others, and I look forward to seeing what some of those answers are, and so does the council, but 19% back to public safety. All right. Last set of questions in this. Same question again. This time it is, what's the least? So of that list, or other, of that list, start the clock. Okay, time's up. Out of the mouth of babes, what can I say? All right, there's your answers, Mayor and Council. About 300 people, that's all I can say. That's all I will say, let's put it that way. Education, let's move on to the next one before we put the question up. Let's start by underscoring the fact that Aberdeen, the city of Aberdeen, the city staff, the mayor and council, they don't have oversight or control of the public schools located here in the city. That's a responsibility of Hartford County. I'm guessing 99.9% of you know that, but it bears mentioning as we go into these questions. However, it's well recognized that the links between the quality of education and the quality of life in the city or community they're inextricably linked. Considering that, the council felt it helpful to get some of your thoughts related to public schools here in Aberdeen. Some of you may have had children who have children attend the school, or you might yourself, many of you, be a product of an Aberdeen school, so you have, hopefully most of you have some familiarity. With that in mind, we'll start with this next question. I believe the overall quality of education in Aberdeen, again, we're talking public schools, is A, outstanding, B, good, C, average, D, needs improvement, E, poor, or you don't have a school, don't know about it, so I don't know. Start the clock. Okay, getting close. I'm not a product of Aberdeen school system, or I don't have any kids either. I defer to you all. 278 of you think it's good. 77 of you, 60 say it needs improvement. What I can tell you is I'm sure the mayor and council, I will convey this to the county school board. They need to know that. All right, next question. My primary concerns with my children's school, so if you're still in school, it's your school, are quality of instruction, safety, teacher competency, buildings and grounds. I don't attend or I didn't attend an Aberdeen school, or I don't have a child that does. Start the clock. And I would say, while this is populating, we get a little bit later, we're going to dig a little deeper into the school safety issue. There are some questions in the police side that the school resource officers that will give you a chance to elaborate. Probably not surprising in this era that we all live in, daily news. Safety is pretty prevalent there in terms of the issues we do know about. You all saw we have several representatives here of the Aberdeen Police Department. Chief's here. That's a message we want to be sending to him and his staff. Next question. City of Aberdeen provides school resource officers, I said it's coming, to the Aberdeen Middle School and to the high school. It takes approximately $100,000 to pay, train, equip, and provide the benefits to these officers. Considering that, do you, A, do not believe an SRO should be in the middle school or high school? B, believe a school resource officer, a uniformed officer, should be in every public school, i.e. the elementaries? C, do not have an opinion on this issue, or other. Start the clock. Okay. All right. Looks pretty strong that you want one in majority, want one in every school. Again, a message. Last question in this series. If you chose B, and we thought maybe a lot of you would, if you chose B and believe that an SRO, school resource officer, a uniformed officer, should be in every public school, how would you pay for it? The City of Aberdeen should increase taxes to pay for the additional SROs. The City of Aberdeen should reallocate its existing funds and pay for the SROs. Harford County should pay for the SROs. I didn't choose B or other. Start the clock. All right. I would say, too, just as an FYI, we issued an invitation to all the schools, the school leadership, and to the executive leadership of Harford County. I don't know who's here, but everyone in the county who's in a leadership position, we tried to extend an invitation to. So as you can see from this, your responses is the county should fund them. All right, let's move on. Next set of questions. We're going to talk about parks and recreation and the library. We've got several parks in town. We've got a festival out in front of City Hall, and if you were there this evening, you saw, I think it's 12 or 13 vendors at our Thursday farmers market. We've got a Victory Park, which has put a lot into it in the last year, a Frisbee golf course, a dog park. We've got playing fields, skateboard ramps over at North Dean Park, multi-purpose field at DeMarco Park. We also have, every school has some fields and playing grounds and all of that. The city has a senior center, but it's managed, I'll repeat this, it's managed by the county. And we also have a municipal swimming pool. Just out of curiosity, how many of you know that Aberdeen owns an Olympic-sized municipal pool up off Robin Hood? I see a lot of people who didn't raise their hand. We do, and you're all eligible to be members of it. So, the City Council is looking to significantly expand park space. It's been a primary topic since I've been here for the last year and a half. So, with that said, there is some talk, there is ongoing discussions about a park, recreational fields up off Rock Glen Boulevard and possibly here in downtown itself. We are going to be putting a park right across from the Boys and Girls Club there in what we call Church Green. Should be up by the 1st of July, I think. A small, kind of a more teen-oriented, something for them to do in that community. Harford County is responsible for the operations of the Aberdeen's library. Again, like the senior center, they operate the library. Armed with this background, we're going to have a series of questions. So please answer question 18. Now that you know, how often do you or a member of your family visit an Aberdeen park, the city pool, playground, or sports field? Start the clock. Okay. Pretty spread out there, isn't it? That's interesting. I saw Mr. Ewing. Mr. Ewing, you're here somewhere, aren't you? Might be something to take note. Okay. Well, the answers, we'll have to cut away from it. The A is I'm a business person. I live outside the city and never visit. B is I'm a family member and never visit. So I live here and I never visit. I'm not sure. I don't know. Can we go back and redo that one? Rob? Okay. All right. A do-over. It happens in golf and in school and in life. So, let's start again. Question 18. Armed with the information we talked about all the fields and playgrounds and libraries and etc., how often do you or a member of your family visit an Aberdeen park, the pool, the city pool, a school playground, or a sports field? Answers are there. I'm a business person. I live outside the city and I never go. I'm a family member, but I still never go. I or my family members visit on a monthly basis. D is I or a family member visit on a weekly basis. And E is I or a family member go more than once a week. Start the clock. Okay. Looks like, for the most part, C. I visit about a month, not a whole lot on the weekly, or comparatively speaking, or on the weekly basis, or more than once a week. Okay. Next question. Unlike several other communities in Harford County, Aberdeen does not have a public recreation center provided by the county. That void has been filled a lot through the use of either a private health club or school facilities. Considering that, would you, A, support an increase in taxes, Aberdeen taxes, to build, staff, operate, and maintain a city recreation center? Are you, B, opposed to using tax dollars to finance a city recreation center? C, you believe the current conditions are sufficient, the status quo is okay. D, believe the city and county should do more to support recreation in Aberdeen with the existing resources provided by citizens, or E, none of the above. Start the clock. Okay. A little bit more than well, I'm going to say a third, but it's still changing. The majority, is with item D. Do more with the resources you have. Next question. How often do you or a member of your family visit the Aberdeen Library? Is it A, I'm a business person living outside the city and I never visit the library? Is it B, I or a family member never visit the library, even though we live here? C, I or a family member visit the library on a monthly basis. D, we visit on a weekly basis. Or E, I visit more than once a week. Start the clock. Okay. Okay. Got a lot of people who doesn't visit the library, it appears. And when they do, it's on a monthly basis. Next question. If you answered D or E, to the question above, and D was, I visit on a weekly basis or I visit more than once a week. If you answered either one of those, what do you believe is the biggest need at the Aberdeen Library? If you want to answer, regardless of whether you answer D or E, go ahead too, if you've ever been in the library. But the bottom line is, if you answer D or E, what's the biggest need? They need more holdings, books, videos, tapes. They need additional staffing. C is they need more computers. D is they need to expand the hours. E is they need to improve the facility. Or F, other. Start the clock. Yeah, we're fine. We've got 40 minutes. And we are about halfway there, so I think we're okay. Unfortunately, with 300 people, this is going a lot slower than the rehearsals. Yeah. Yeah. All right. It appears that E, we need an improved facility, not necessarily new, but improved facility. All right. And we will, again, ensure that this gets into the hands of the people who run the library. Next question, do you believe the Aberdeen Library is treated similarly concerning its facilities, holding staff, capital projects when compared to other Hartford County libraries? A, yes. B, no. C, I'm not sure. Start the clock. Okay, I think we can deduce from that fairly clear that as compared to yes and no, no, it's not. All right, next question. Which of the following responses best applies to the Aberdeen Senior Center? I'm a senior over 55 or older, residing in Aberdeen or at APG, and never use their programs. B is I am a senior and I use the center on a monthly basis. C is I am a senior and use the senior programs on a weekly basis. D is I'm a business person or I live outside the community and never use the facility. Or E, I'm not over 55, 55 or older. Start the clock. Okay. And while this is populating, if you were here early, you saw the video that we've developed for this. It was about an 8-minute video. One of the pictures was of the senior center. It was hit by Winter Storm Riley. There was a tree about circumference of about 2.5 feet. We got the bids last week. It's right at $100,000. I saw Mr. Torster. Where is he? Am I right? About $100,000 to repair. And yeah, you can give me a thumbs up. They're released. Bids are going to be released. The county is not the county, or the insurance company has done it. It will probably be toward the end of the summer when the senior center opens back up. The senior center is right there at Festival Park, if you don't know, right across from City Hall. Yep. So that's our answer. Okay. Next question. last one in this series, for those who answered that they use the senior center, what do you believe is the biggest need there at the center? A, expanded programs, B, additional staffing, C, additional equipment and recreational items, D, expanded hours, E, improved facilities, F is I don't use the center, and G is other. I'm guessing we're going to have a clear contender in that. It probably will be F. Is from the question before, we don't have a lot of senior center users in the audience. All right. We move on, Rob? You got that? All right. Infrastructure. Like cities across the country, especially on the East Coast because they're older, Aberdeen's roads and infrastructure we're defining as your water and your sewer lines and the computers that operate those systems, very sophisticated. They're pretty dated and they're in constant need of upgrades or repairs. The city's water system, like all of the other cities in Maryland, is classified as an enterprise fund activity. Not a lesson in civics, but essentially an enterprise fund has to work on the dollars that it makes. Don't use city tax dollars in doing it. So you pay your water bill, it goes back to the water system. The principal form of revenue paying for the city street installation, repairs and maintenance has come from federal and state gas tax, which for the most part has not changed in 25 years. And in general, it's going down because we've got far more fuel-efficient cars, and generally people aren't driving the same set of distance across the board. There are state streets in Aberdeen, there are city streets in Aberdeen, and there are private streets. Sometimes trying to figure it out who owns what is a real challenge. Each of those, though, the state and private, has to pay for the repairs and maintenance on their own roads. So just as a matter of information, it might come to a surprise to some of you, Aberdeen does not own Route 22. Aberdeen does not own Route 40. Aberdeen does not own West Bel Air Avenue. So those are state roads. Make sure you, and I heard a few expressions there, so that tells me that a lot of people didn't know that Aberdeen doesn't own some of the major thoroughfares. They're state roads. Now that you're aware of who owns what and some of the conditions that exist in which we have to operate as a city, answer the following questions. I believe the streets and roads, and again, I didn't make a distinction in this question about who owns it. I believe the streets and roads in Aberdeen are A, great, B, good, C, average, D, needs improvement, and E, poor. Start the clock. Okay. Average and needs improvement. Next question. And by the way, the 4-year process for Route 22, if you came in that way today, you see the end is in sight, supposedly. They're starting to pave now, and again, that's a state project. I believe the city and state officials should, A, spend enough money on maintaining our streets and areas surrounding them, or B, should spend more money. So basically, one, you're content with what you got, that's A, or spend more money on B. Start the clock. Okay. B. Want to spend more money. Okay. Next question, 27. When it snows, I believe the city and city employees do a blank job of keeping the area's streets and roads cleared. Either A, good, B, adequate, or C, poor. Start the clock. Well, that's a good news message, I think. All right, last question in this series, a little bit of a complicated question. This is not a test. Let me walk you through it. Don't start any clocks yet. We'll read it together and then we'll. The United States Environmental Protection Agency. I'm not sure how I can. The U.S. EPA and the Maryland Department of Environment have enacted several measures to protect our streams, our rivers, and the bay from becoming polluted by runoffs from surface water. Many of those protections are expensive to build and maintain. One method for paying for these improvements is called a rain tax. And the rain tax basically assesses a charge based upon the amount of impervious surface. Impervious is it doesn't pour, the water doesn't go through it, it runs off of it. So based upon the amount of impervious surface you own. So that means the size of your house is impervious surface, your driveway, your garage, anything. So knowing all that, please consider A, I'd be willing to pay additional taxes or other fees to protect our environment. B, I think the conditions of the environment in Aberdeen is okay, and I don't see the need to pay for more taxes for added protection. C, if I have to pay more, I'd rather see a tax different from the rain tax. D, if there was a rain tax in Aberdeen, I'd move somewhere else. And E, I don't own a home or business, so this really doesn't relate to me. And then other. Everybody okay with the question? It's a tough one, but it is one that the City Council is facing right now because there's some new, very, very tough fiscal requirements from the state and the federal government. So with that, start the clock. Okay. About a third of you think Aberdeen is okay. That's great information. Unfortunately, the state doesn't sometimes agree with us on those issues, so we'll see how that goes. All right, next question. We're going to a different section. Economic development. Aberdeen is growing, and there's some really positive things on the economic development arena that's going on across the city. We all know that nationally and here in the state, unemployment is near a historical low rate. We have the most heavily used train station between Philadelphia and Baltimore. The city is just a few miles from one of the largest ports on the East Coast. We've got at least 2 international airports within an hour or hour and a half commute. And we're home to several large and recognized industries, which Frito-Lay, for example. And we are host, Aberdeen is host to one of the largest, if not, I've heard various numbers, largest employers in national defense, and that's Aberdeen Proving Ground. We see major improvements this year. Ms. Grover, your Economic Development Director, captured nearly $1 million to improve the train station over the next few years outside. She also captured $350,000. If you've been in a train station, it's been completely redone in the inside in the last 8 months. You have seen, if you've been down to City Hall or the library or the Senior Center, you've seen Prost German-American Restaurant is coming back online. The Summerlin Apartments are up and done, nearly 200 units there. We're getting a Starbucks, if you didn't know that. Let me be happy to tell you we're getting a Starbucks. We're going to get we've been slated to get a Texas Roadhouse, and if you have paid attention and even minor things, visited the post office in the last month, you've seen after 30 years, there's a ramp. Bravo to the mayor. So all of that's the background information. So the question, knowing what's happening here in town and how the council allocates resources. 29, I visit businesses along US 40 and in downtown Aberdeen. We didn't try to come up with a map. You know it when you see it if you're downtown. I visit businesses along 40 and in downtown Aberdeen A, weekly, B, monthly, C, semi-annual, or I never visit a business on 40 or in downtown Aberdeen. Start the clock. Put A. Okay. I'm very pleased. I think the council, Ms. Grover, will be pleased with your responses because there's been an awful lot of time and money from the council allocated to the downtown and 40 area. That helps legitimize that initiative. Next question. If I had to pick just one, I believe we should spend more time and effort encouraging businesses along 40, West Bel Air and downtown, Aberdeen's east side, out at Route 22 in Beards Hill, or in the Ripken Stadium area. Just pick one. If you have limited time and resources, where's your focus? Start the clock. Okay. Answer seems to coincide with the one before, the 40 corridor and the downtown area, collectively 50%. Next question. Next three questions, we've done the same process several times. Of the businesses and industries listed below, and it's just an industry, but listed below, what would your first priority be to see more of here in Aberdeen? You want restaurants, industry, administrative or defense-related offices. You want retail, medical, educational, professional. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Take a minute because the next two questions will be just like this, same answers. So what's your number one priority of where you want people to spend time and energy and money? Restaurants, industry, defense offices, administrative, groceries, retail, etc. Start the clock. Thank you. Okay. Restaurants and retail. Retail and restaurants. Next question. Identical to this one. What's your second priority? Start the clock. Okay. Pretty clear messages in there, restaurants and retail. The last question in this series. What's your least important priority? What means the least to you of this list? Start the clock. Okay. Less administrative offices. Next question. Trains. And depending on your responses, we may skip one or two because if you're not a train rider, then you may not. So of the trains, A, never ride the train. B, use the train a couple times a year. C, I use the train on a monthly basis. D, I use the train on a weekly or daily basis. Start the clock. Okay. Most of you do not use the Aberdeen train station. Rob, considering the answers to that, let's skip 35. Okay? You cool with that? Let's go to buses. Let's go to buses. Hartford County. I'm trying to be respectful of your time. We are at 20 after, but I'll go back. So since 58% of you don't use the train, let's ask the other 42%. Go back. Go back. I'd ride the train more often if the schedule was improved, if it was less expensive, if I felt safer, if the appearance of the station was improved. I won't ride the train. Okay. Okay? We still don't have train riders. I would write, we're on the bus now. Hartford County Link It's the county bus system. I never ride the bus. I ride the bus about a couple times a year. I ride the bus on a monthly basis. I'd ride the bus on a weekly or daily basis. Start the clock. Okay. %81 of you do not ride the bus. I would ride the bus. Go ahead. Probably a rhetorical question. I would ride the bus more often if the schedule was improved, if it was safer, if the interior of the buses were improved, if the shelters at the bus stop were covered or improved. I won't ride the bus or other. Start the clock. Okay. Still looks like we have a lot of non-bus riders. I look forward to seeing there's a fair amount of others on there, what your thoughts are. 38. In the areas listed below, which would you instruct the Aberdeen City Council and staff to make its top priority? Go after more businesses, jobs, and restaurants. A. B. Focus on more public safety issues. C. Work to improve the city's housing inventory. D. Focus on educational matters. E. Sponsor more community events. F. Provide more recreational programs in the facility to house them in. Or G, other. Start the clock. And time. It appears to be businesses and jobs and pretty strong public safety. So you'll get a chance to re-verify that. The next question will be same thing as before in the same areas below. What would you tell this council and staff to make it its second top priority? Same list. More businesses, public safety, improve the housing inventory, focus on education, sponsor community events, or provide more recreational programs, or other. Start the clock. Time. Okay. F. see, this is where some of them, when we deviate, see a strong showing on this one, and the second priority is being recreation. All right, we're going to move to public safety. The city, footnote, the city operates the police department. Aberdeen's fire department is operated basically by Harford County and with volunteers. Knowing that, please respond to the following. Question 40. Please choose the one response that best outlines your feelings. I feel safe living and working in Aberdeen nearly all the time. I feel safe living or working in Aberdeen most of the time. I just feel safe living and working in Aberdeen. D is I often feel unsafe living or working in Aberdeen. E is I feel unsafe living here most of the time. And F is other. Start the clock. And as that populates, I don't know how many of you know this if you again watch that video. Aberdeen this year was ranked the 4th safest city in the state of Maryland. I want to thank the chief and his team back there. They do a phenomenal job. It's a good news story, Chief. Okay, move on to the next question. In my opinion, the Aberdeen Police Department's top priority should be A, school safety, B, traffic safety, C, patrolling the city, D, drug abuse issues, E, teen or gang-related criminal activities, or F, other. Start the clock. That's pretty telling stats, Chief. You guys may want to take, I mean, there's a lot of mixed messages in there too, as you can well see. They want you to be all things to all people, Chief. So, next question. In my opinion, the police department's second priority should be same ones: school safety, traffic safety, patrolling the city, drug abuse issues, teen or gang-related activities, or other. Start the clock. See a lot of strength as it relates to the patrolling of the city. Next question. From what I see of the Aberdeen Police Department, I believe they should, A, they need more officers on the force, B, they're the correct size, or C, they're too big. Start the clock. Physical fitness quiz. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. 300, 265 responses. Either they're more or they are the right size. Next question. In the last 5 years, don't worry about the number of years, we put 5, but in the last 5 years, I or a member of my family have had blank interactions or contact, whether positive or negative, with the Aberdeen Police Department, and we try to clarify. An interaction can be an official action, like you're getting a ticket, or you have a question, or simply an officer can come by and say, how you doing? That's an interaction. So we're trying to gauge how they're getting along with you, the people they serve. So with that in mind, answer the question. A, I've had no interaction or contact. B, I've had 2 or less interactions. Or C, I've had 3 or more. Start the clock. Okay. Interesting data there, particularly to me, is on the 10% of our population in here tonight never has any contact in the last 5 years. Next question. We'll come back and now qualify that is, how would you rate those interactions or contacts with the Aberdeen Police Department? A, you've never had an interaction with them. B, I would say it's a positive experience. C, I would say it was a neutral experience. Or D, I would say it was a negative experience. Now, no one likes to see a police officer walking up to their car. I got that. So keep that in mind. Start the clock. When you have had interactions, generally they've been very positive. Next question. The Aberdeen Fire Department is manned mostly by volunteers and operates under the authority of the Harford County Emergency Management Agency. From what I know or what I've experienced, I believe the fire department is A, adequately staffed, B, insufficiently staffed, or C, I cannot accurately answer the question. Start the clock. And while it's populating, I did see several representatives of the fire department. I want to thank Mr. Budnick back there and his team because they're volunteers, guys. God bless you for what you do. Okay. A lot of you don't know. There may be a marketing message in that, just for you. All right. Go to the next question. We're getting close to the end. Understand that it may result in an increase in my taxes. I blank, and we'll fill in the blank, Hartford County's efforts to move to a county-wide fire and EMS staffing system of paid professional. So do you support that? Do you not support it? Or you don't know enough about the issue that you can accurately answer? Start the clock. It'd be an interesting one to take back to your leadership. A lot of people don't know much about it at this point in time. I think it's still an idea in its infancy. But all right. Last question on fire. City Council of Aberdeen provides the fire department with between $250,000 and $350,000 a year. Knowing that, I think the city and county should, A, provide more funding to the fire and emergency medical services. B, the funding that is done is sufficient. C, should reduce the amount of support. D, I don't know enough about the issue to actually address the question. Or E, other. Start the clock. Okay, looks like we're getting some, again, a strong contender. You're really not aware of the issue enough to accurately answer. All right, question 49. These last two are about quality of life and business issues here in Aberdeen. First one. Say my quality of life in Aberdeen is outstanding, A, B, good, C, average, D, poor. I'm not a resident. Start the clock. Okay. It's pretty good spread there. Outstanding, good, or average at best. Not too many on the poor side, so something must be going fairly well for most of us. Final question of the night. This is for the business owners, employees, people who work in the city. If you want to answer it regardless of whether you are or not, you can answer it regardless. You'll see that response, but it was oriented towards if you're a business person here in town. As a business owner or an employee in the city of Aberdeen, I believe business environment in this city is A, outstanding, B, good, C, average, D, poor. I'm not a business owner or an employee in Aberdeen or other. Start the clock. Ms. Van Willis, come on up here. Where's Ms. Spector? Where's Ms. Spector? Okay. Stephanie, while we get to the end, come on up for a second. I see you're strong, and we didn't think there would be that many business owners, but of those who are, it's not outstanding, but it seems to be good or average. Okay. We're going to wrap it up. Again, I'm over your time. Be respectful. We've got some great gifts. First of all, the first 100 of you that came in should have gotten 2 tickets each to the Aberdeen Ironbirds. I want to thank them. The games were for opening day or the following Sunday. I want to thank Mr. Slatus for making that possible. We have some gifts, so Mayor, would you come up and do the honors? Got a lot of gifts. Parting gifts. Thank you. And while you're clapping, and people are leaving, if you don't, these 2 ladies up here were the backbone of a lot of this, and the gentleman in the back, Rob, let's give him a round of applause. This has been planned for months. You did well, lady. Thank you. Okay. The Lions Club has donated a $25 gift certificate to Home Depot. I saw Mark. Mark, thank you, and your team. Thank you. Lioness, okay. I take back everything I said good about you and say it to the Lioness. Lioness Club, what's the number? You have to.
All right, the winner is 514.
We need you to hold your ticket up and so we can verify it.
No, I'm just teasing. That's the first 3 numbers. Okay. 514-2211. To repeat, that's 514-2211.
Can you take it over? Congratulations, ma'am. Want to thank the Lioness. We now have $75 in gift cards from Wawa. Mayor?
The second one. Everybody ready? Got your tickets out. 514-2052. Right there.
We have a winner. Got it? Next one, I want to thank Ms. Galt, Tammy Galt, and the people at the Olive Tree. We have $100. Now, everything we're giving out tonight, too, was donated. I want to thank all of you. $100 to the Olive Tree restaurant. Sir.
Tickets ready. 514-2072. That's 514-2072. Miss Peters back there.
Is it Ruth? Ruth, she's on the red sweater. A $100 gift certificate to Target.
$100 gift certificate to Target. That's 514-2268.
There you go. Verify your number. It gets better.
Gets better.
$200 to Target.
Wow.
$200 gift certificates.
514-20-9. 9. Right down here.
Two more. Still got good chances. We have a Home Depot contribution. Now, rather than bringing it down here, here's what it consists of. Let's see. It's a garden pack. It includes soils, mulch, flowers, chemicals, garden tools, and a garden cart. You'll pick it up. We'll give you the letter. You'll take it to Home Depot. And the winner is
514-20-6.
Way over there.
Hey! All right, while he's collecting that, I need to give some props to the Aberdeen City staff that put this together. You see these guys all over town. I see our Director of Public Works is up there. I see the Chief of Police standing next to Will Reiber back here. We've got our Aberdeen police officers, our police staff. We've got our economic development team. Ms. Felicia Banuelos is up here working in the administrative offices. And props to the city manager for, even with some confrontation, he did a great job running this event. So, don't clap, don't clap. Was this good? Was this a good event? Is this productive? Please, we need to hear from you, okay? For the things that were others, make sure you put your comments in. All right? You know how to get a hold of the City Hall, 272-1600, Patrick McGrady on Facebook, right? You can hit me any day, right? I'm not going to bite. We need to hear from you about what you care about, that we asked questions about or that we didn't ask questions about. So you can't leave yet because there's still one more raffle ticket. I know why you're still listening, so thank you.
There's also a Google form on our website. They can fill out.
How do they find it? Yep.
You got a card, you can go to our city webpage. We are actually live. We thought if we told you ahead of time you wouldn't show up. This has been streamed tonight on YouTube. You can go to the city webpage tomorrow and you'll see a list of all the questions. Again, there's a basket in the back. Drop your other cards in there or just call us or email us. I want to thank you all. We've been trying to do this for I want to thank Mr. Gooden because actually when I proffered this idea, he said, go do it. And he stuck with me, so thank you, sir, your counselor. Thank you all. You're about twice as many as we expected, for what it's worth. Congratulations to you. And the final gift certificate of the night, it's a 43-inch flat screen TV. I believe it over $400, and that young lady got it for us from Walmart, the donation. Goes to...
Now, I know why you're still in your seats. Mr. Robertson, can you please give instructions as to what they are to do with their clickers?
Yeah, there is a basket going around. If you remove those clickers, we'll probably get charged. They are expensive. That gentleman in the back wants them back. Do not put it in your pocket. And if by chance you do and you realize tomorrow it's not a remote changer, it won't open your garage door, leave it on the way back, but if you do by chance forget and somehow get out of here, bring it to City Hall. I want to again thank Rob because do this. And our winner of the 43-inch flat screen TV is
514. Got some gamblers in here. 514-217-0.
way back there. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been a blessed crowd. God bless you. Thank you. Leave your stuff on the way as you go out the door. Have a good evening. Thank you.